Hey voters, Anthony Haslage, the internet politician here. Before I begin, do not forget to like and subscribe to keep up to date on new content. We are returning to topics from my political positions document, which can be found on my website. The website's link is in the description, and today's first topic is same-sex marriage. My understanding of the same-sex debate is twofold. One, someone said that somewhere it was documented that marriage is only between a man and a woman. And two, someone said that somewhere it is documented that it is naughty for two people of the same sex to be a couple. What I know for sure is that the Bible says that sodomy is forbidden. That is like legit the only thing I'm aware of. Thus, one can attribute it to mean that homosexual relationships are prohibited in the Bible, including marriage between same-sex partners. It is probably safe to assume that this is what people mean when they said it was documented somewhere. Anyway, as far as my view is concerned, there's an old adage that says that homosexuals should have their same rights as the rest of us to be married and just as miserable. I believe that what people do behind their own closed doors is their own business, and as long as they do not negatively impact anyone else, have at it. The choice of using the word marriage or not in defining same-sex partnership on the same level as heterosexual marriage does not matter to me, as long as everyone is treated the same when they share similar circumstances. I understand that the word marriage is considered a straight person thing, and thus they don't want to give it up because it's maybe in the Bible somewhere. I don't know. Tell me in the comments, is marriage in the Bible? Was Joseph and Mary married? They never consummated it, right? Because God is Jesus' dad. That's all New Testament stuff. That's not really something we covered in synagogue. Anyway, now, as somebody who is not homosexual, this kind of falls into the kind of the abortion and pro-life, pro-choice thing where because it doesn't impact me, I really shouldn't have a say about it. But also, I realize that if the word marriage is in fact something biblical, that may be a same-sex union, or there's some other words, partnerships, which I think partnership is pretty much the agreed-on vernacular right now. And then we start using partnership to mean any type of relationship, because I think that becomes more PC. But the point is, it's not my choice, because I'm not in the party in which is fighting for same-sex rights. I support them. Don't get me wrong. I support everybody to have rights, as long as those rights don't impede on anyone else's rights. Leading into the separation of church and state, it's necessary to be all-inclusive. However, if City Hall is going to use taxpayer money to put up a Christmas tree, then they should also be open to placing other religious iconography as well. Like if the city's going to put up a Christmas tree, they should put up a Hanukkah. If they have a Muslim population, they should put up whatever the Muslims use. If they have an African American population that celebrates Kwanzaa, they should put up the Kwanzaa candles. I forget the name of them. Forgive me. Buddhists, I don't know what they have, but I feel like all inclusive. If you're going to do one, you're going to do all. Where the separation really comes in, though, is making sure that government decisions aren't impacted because of religion. And let me put this aside. Our morals and ethics are morals are for a lot of people are based on some religious beliefs, and then the ethics are typically based on laws. So we got subjective and objective kind of fighting for who's right, and I think you are the judge of what guides you. Do I think we should be teaching religion in schools? No, that's what church is for. That's what synagogue is for. That's what Sunday school is for. So I mean, there is a clear line for me, but how you make your decisions is on you. But then we move on to the next topic, Social Security. If someone has paid into the system, they should receive that in which they have paid, adjusted for inflation, upon retirement. If you understand anything about the Social Security system, essentially you invest money into it, your employers pay towards it, and then you see a supposedly livable wage after the fact. Although I would not discourage anyone from retirement savings backup plan, as Social Security may not last much longer. At this point in the game, it's probably best to privatize at least part of Social Security, which admittedly I think they have. All I know is I can't retire until I'm like 68 or something, or 72, some number out there. I'm barely like 20 years away at least from being close to anything. But any smart investor, and I'm definitely not one of them, would put their money in some safe, low yield investments that wouldn't, they have a long history of being profitable and effective. Definitely would not throw them into cryptocurrency, especially the way that market's going right now. But I have been told that the act of privatizing Social Security has with it a stigma that seemingly penalizes the least wealthy amongst us. Based upon what I have in mind, I'm not exactly sure how. The way the Social Security works currently, employers withhold payroll taxes for each employee as required by law. The money and the additional taxes that the employer must pay then ends up in a different number of pools. After a worker has earned the necessary work credits and have decided to retire, they would then receive what they have paid into the system, adjusted for inflation, distributed over time. According to the Social Security Administration, the Social Security program ran at a deficit in 2012. So those who had planned to retire in 2000 would receive less income than they had paid into the system. However, one must consider the value of the services being provided without any adjustment for inflation, but it does not have to be done this way. My mother and father are both planning to retire this year. They're about 65 years old. I honestly I have not the foggiest idea what they're going to see in return, because the Social Security system is kind of a mess. And I believe estimates say this is just not going to exist by the time I'm ready to retire. I've already settled into the I'm going to be working until I'm dead scenario, which is weird because my grandfather, he worked until right before he died. He basically retired, went on vacation, and died. Frankly, if I'm just going to boil it down, he was maybe a month after he retired. And I see that's the future I'm going to probably have. And I know a lot of people are going to be the same way. It's just the way because we don't have those lifelong careers anymore. My grandfathers worked with GMC and Ford. They could rely on that at retirement. My dad's dad, who is still alive, still lives on retirement, has himself and a wife to support. She is retired. So luckily for them, they have that dual income going on. Recently, my grandfather had major surgery. If not for the fact that he retired as part of Ford, he wouldn't have as good benefits as he has with Social Security alone. So I believe that instead of simply taking funds and distributing them, we should make our money work for us. This is at the point in which privatization bit occurs, but I am on two minds on exactly how. Now, this is where I go back to the low yield thing, but the first idea is to give workers the option to have their retirement funds invested, because it's not. I don't think it's automatic right now. The second idea is we treat the funds more like a deposit into a bank by loaning out the funds, which I think is kind of what the Social Security Administration does already. I'm too young to retire and know very little of retirement, other than what my grandparents had told me. The point is that anyone who would be interested in could partake and hopefully help the Social Security program operate with a surplus. We may never know when we may need the extra funds, much like how we could use them now with the growing retirement of baby boomers, of which my parents are. When we think of Social Security, we generally associate it with being the money that is paid at retirement, but Social Security has a lot more to it. Social Security also includes Medicare, insurance for the disabled, retirees, survivors of beneficiaries and the unemployed, veterans benefits, food assistance programs, and more. While my previous comments focus specifically on retirement benefits, as it would represent 70% of all Social Security, I also would not discourage anyone from obtaining additional forms of insurance that will cover whatever unexpected needs may arise. Now, considering the fact that we are getting through a pandemic, I'm going to assume, I don't know for sure, that Social Security has been pretty much damaged from this, especially when we're throwing money at people to get them through various different things. And yeah, we also increased the federal debt as a result, because it can't all come from this one pool. Yeah, Social Security is not long for this world. If you're a baby boomer, you're probably going to be the last generation to really see it as it is now. Well, that is all the time we have for today, voters. Remember, a good voter is an informed voter who can think for themselves. Do not forget to check out my previous videos on this channel, as well as like and subscribe to keep up to date on new content.